Hi, I am Silvia Saunders and I am coming to you from my writing desk and I'm going to try and give you a few tips on how to incorporate humour in your writing. I am the author of Homesick, which won the Comedy Women in Print Prize last year. So my first and probably biggest tip would be to keep your eyes and ears open all the time. Even if this means sometimes zoning out the people that you're actually with. It's really not unheard of for my boyfriend to elbow me in the street and say, Sylvia, in a very stern voice, which means that I'm either looking at somebody too obviously or listening too actively. But the fact is that inspiration can come from anywhere, and it should. A family member once told me, you never have to make anything up with a family like ours. But that's not actually true. My family is very straightforward, so sometimes I do need to look further afield for ideas. The next thing I would say in that same vein is it's important to stick to your characters very closely. Notice what it is about them that makes them them. Like, what is it? How do they inhabit the world? What is it about them that's unique? I'll give you an example. So I have a creepy boss character in Homesick, and I could describe him physically. I could say, for example, he has rosy cheeks, he has a receding hairline, he has teeth that never look completely clean. All of these things are true, but I think sometimes you can do more by describing their actions, to put it plainly. So, for example, this is how he's introduced. Whenever we get book deliveries, he sits on the counter in front of me, bum crack peeking over the top of his leather-belted chinos, and reads whole opening paragraphs to me, gauging my reaction. This can do more sometimes than just a straightforward physical description. The next thing I would say is that being funny does not mean being frivolous. Tragedy and comedy have always gone hand in hand. They always will. I touch on some quite heavy topics actually in Homesick. I look at loneliness, depression, death, the heaviest of all the topics. And I offset the drama with lightness, with one-liners, with unexpected things happening. We need that. We can't always be in dark places, and we need those little bits of light to cut through, and I think that often makes for the most humorous of scenes when you're able to balance the two things. I would also say to really sort of use place to your advantage. So think about where your action is happening. Think of the sort of classic great British comedies like The Royal Family or The Office, which take place in sort of typically quite boring settings, a front room and an office. And the humour comes in there because of these boring settings, not in spite of. So I have Mara working in a library. You have the library patrons who are coming in and bringing their own stuff, their own external stuff. A wide variety of people access public libraries, so that gives scope for lots of different things to happen. And also she moves into a very poorly sound insulated flat, so she's often eavesdropping and sort of zoning into what her neighbours in the other flats are doing, and that also gives quite a lot of room for comic situations. Sorry, I'm just in the Bronx. Finally, I would say that if a joke isn't working, just scrap it. Don't force it. It's never going to fit. If it doesn't work straight away, it's not going to work. So either try it again or just take it out. And if all else fails, jump on the bus, pop your headphones in, pretend that you're listening to a podcast, and listen to what everyone around you is saying. You might just get the kernel for your next great book.